Alright guys, I'm back again with another tier list. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I figured that this would be a fun one. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to try to go as quick as I can and just try not to explain it too much. So basically my experience with Mario Kart 8 is I bought the game on the Wii U, played it a lot, then the DLC came out on the Wii U, bought that, and then I got the game on the Switch when it came out again, and then I bought the DLC again, and that game and I've played it pretty much every day now for the last few months or so. So I've really had a lot of time to really experience all of these maps. And yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun today to just to rank them on this tier list. So it goes from S and then goes all the way down to F. So yeah, so basically like the S maps, S and A, and all these ones up here are going to be your really good maps. C tier and kind of around here is like your average kind of maps, and then down here is like the ones that aren't particularly good, or at least I don't like them. So first we'll start out with Mario Kart Stadium, the first map in the game. I think it's alright. I think it's one of the better starting maps in any Mario Kart game. So just for that, I'm going to put it in B tier. A lot of shortcuts, and it's a pretty fun one. Water Park, I think, is one of the worst maps in the game by far. It's just really boring. There's not much shortcuts. There's barely any like ramps or anything. It's just very uninteresting to me. And yeah, I've always hated this one. So for me, that's easy F tier. That may be my least favorite map in the game. Sweet Canyon, I don't really like that much either. I think it's more looks cool. I don't think it plays that well. Again, there's not many shortcuts, not many. These kind of first maps were kind of simpler for sure. They definitely expanded on it later on. But yeah, this is kind of just a simple layout. I'm going to put an E tier. I don't really think it's that good. And that shortcut at the end, where you go through that donut, if you don't have a mushroom at the end, you're kind of screwed. And a lot of my experience recently with these maps has been playing them online. So for me, this is just kind of an annoying one. If you don't have a mushroom, you're screwed in that one. Thwomp Ruins, I like this one. It is definitely basic, but I kind of like how it looks, and it's pretty fun. I'd put it in C tier. It's just an average map for me, nothing too special. Mario Kart Circuit, again, it's just this first cup I really don't think is that great. This one's okay, but I actually prefer Mario Kart Stadium definitely over this. I'd probably put it in D tier, just because, I don't know, just not crazy about it. I don't get excited when it gets picked. Toad Harbor, again, this is another one I'm not too crazy about. That long straightaway section at the end is kind of boring, and all these maps look pretty cool, but gameplay-wise, I think this one kind of sucks, and there's just not a whole lot going on. There's like a split path towards the beginning, but you always want to take the left path pretty much. So to me, it's just, I don't really like it that much. It's kind of comparable to Sweet Canyon to me, so I would just put it up here. I'm not really going to put these in particular order. Like, I'm not going to say like, oh, this is better, so I'm going to put it above. Like, I'll just kind of put them in a line, and just it is what it is. Twisted Mansion, I really don't like this one at all. God, it just sounds like I hate this game. But this one is just, I don't know. I think the underwater section is just really unnecessary. It just seems like they were trying to get something underwater in this map, and it just feels like a gimmick kind of map to me. Again, just nothing I really like about it, so I'm putting it in F tier. Shy Guy Falls, I do like this one. It kind of looks cool. There's a couple shortcuts you can do, and I feel like it was pretty creative how you're like going up the waterfall. So I think that's cool. I'll put this in C tier, I would say. Dolphin Shoals, I don't really like this one at all, especially the first section. I don't really like the music's really cool when you get out of the water, but the beginning of this just kind of ruins it for me. So I'll put it in E tier. Electrodome looks really cool, and I would say it has it's like a decent track layout, I would say. There is a split path, but again, you always want to take the path on the right side, so it doesn't really matter too much. But I think the theme of it's pretty cool, and it's definitely a unique map. But I don't think it would be anywhere above C for me. I know this is like a fan favorite, but for me, I think it's a little overrated. But it's definitely fun. Mount Wario, this is probably the first GOAT map, I would say. Like, this is a really good one. It's one lap. It's interesting the whole time. There's tons of different sections. It's very unique, very memorable, just a very good course overall. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. I would put it in A tier. Cloudtop Cruise is definitely one of my favorite maps in the entire game. I think the music's really cool, and I just think it's a really fun map. There's like that cannon, and then at the end you have to like avoid the lightning bolts. I like that. And there's that shortcut at the end you can always take. This is a really fun one. I've always really liked it. For me, it's a S tier map for sure. Never gets old. Bone Dry Dunes. I used to absolutely despise this map, but the more I play it, the more I actually kind of like it. It is kind of hard to get in that upper section at the end. After the glider, there's like 2 paths, and the upper path is a little annoying to get on for sure. But I do like it. The road is pretty bumpy as well, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think it's okay. I'd put it in C tier, where before, if I made this video a year ago, it'd definitely be an F tier. But it's kind of coming up a little bit. I find myself enjoying it more when it gets picked. And it doesn't get chosen too much online either, so you don't end up playing it that much. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten sick of it yet. Bowser's Castle, so this is the Mario Kart 8 one. I think it's pretty good. Definitely, again, it looks really cool. There's a lot of like things in the beginning you have to avoid, like the spike balls and the fire wheel things, and then there's Bowser in that center area. I think this is a really good one. It's not my favorite in the game, but it's definitely I definitely enjoy it a lot. I'd put it in A tier, I would say. Rainbow Road, Mario Kart 8. I think this one is really good. I think it's kind of underrated. I think it's better even. Well, I don't know if it's better than the Mario Kart 7 one, but I think it's comparable to it. Again, the music's really good, and there's that shortcut at the end that you can take, which I like. Those shortcuts that you can take every single lap, I really enjoy. It just kind of adds a little more fun, I guess, to the track every time you play it, because you can go for it, and it's risky. You can get hit over the edge or something. So it just, I don't know. To me, it makes it more fun to have little tricks like that a lot of people don't know that don't play the game as much. There's some split paths, but again, you always want to take the one on the right. It seems like the right paths are always the fastest in these tracks, but yeah, this is a good one. I'd put it in, I'd say B tier. Maybe A, I don't know, but I'll put it in B. I think it's pretty good. Moo Moo Meadows, this is one that I liked more on the Wii. I don't know what, but it's true with a lot of these Wii maps, like Mushroom Gorge. We'll get to that later. I feel like I don't know, I just feel like they were better on the Wii. Like this one, this was one of my favorite maps, and now I'm just kind of like, it's okay. I'd put it in D tier. It's just nothing too special about it. Let's see here. Mario Circuits. This is from the Game Boy Advance. This one is really cool. I like these open maps that there's a lot of shortcuts and a lot of, I guess, creativity. When you get an item, you're not just like forced to use it in a straight line. You can do a lot of different things in this one. I like that glider that added at the end, so you can kind of try to go over the walls. This one's good. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely good gameplay-wise for sure. I'd put it in C tier as well. Cheap Cheap Beach. This one, I don't know. Again, this is like kind of a GOAT map in the DS, but in this game, it's not as good. I wouldn't say. The underwater, I mean, it's cool, I guess, but I would say it's D tier. It's just nothing too special about it. Toad's Turnpike. This is my least favorite map in the game right here. This damn map is literally a figure 8 with the widest turns in the world, with cars going around, and the cars are so easy to avoid until the last lap, right at the end where they just put a ton of them. This map is just, it's boring. Whenever I play this one or it gets chosen, I'm just like, oh god. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm putting it straight into F tier. There's no shortcuts. Getting coins is annoying, and they added those anti-gravity things on the wall, and I don't know. I think this map is really bad. Don't think it even needed to come back, and if it did, they should have changed a lot about it rather than just keeping it exactly the same as the original. Dry Dry Desert. This one's another average one for me. A lot of shortcuts can be taken, and like they removed like some cool things about it, like where you fall down that toilet bowl thing and a big piranha plant would eat you, and now you just fall off like normal. So they kind of removed some of the charm of this map. And they added the underwater section, which I guess was cool, but I mean, it was kind of unnecessary. For me, I'd put this one probably in E tier. I think it's, I don't know, it's kind of fun to do gameplay wise. At the end, you can do that big shortcut and just go way to the right of the finish line, and that's kind of fun. But other than that, I don't really like this one at all. Donut Plains 3, I used to hate this one. I still kind of do. It used to get picked a lot more. Now I don't see it as much online. But it's fun. It has a lot of shortcuts, but it's pretty average. I much prefer this Mario circuit here than Donut Plains 3. They're kind of similar, but for some reason I just don't like this one as much. I'd probably put it in D, though. I think it's better than, I'd rather play it than these maps down here. Royal Raceway, this is a good one. I like this one. It's an average map technically, but it looks cool, and there's a lot of grass areas, and I don't know, something about it I like. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. Above kind of more of these average maps, where this probably might be a little lower for other people, but for me, I don't know, I just like that one. I think it has a good track layout, I guess. DK Jungle, this is the 3DS one. Kind of a unique course. I like that it kind of stays true to the source material. It really reminds me of the Donkey Kong on the Wii, the kind of graphics of it, I guess, and these little tiki guys right here. It's a fun one. Not my favorite gameplay-wise, but I do like it. I put it in C tier. Wario Stadium. This is another DS map. I really, really like this one. I think the anti-gravity section was a little unnecessary, but I think it's really fun. I just think there's a lot of turns and jumps, and it's always action with this one. It's never boring, never gets old. I would put it in A. I would put it in A tier. So Wario's got 2 good maps so far. Sherbert Land. I used to really like this one. I don't know why I don't. I don't really much anymore. Again, I feel like the underwater sections kind of ruined this one, and they just, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the ice maps, just because the physics change. Where would I put it though? I'd say D tier. It's not terrible, but I don't really like it that much. Music Park. I don't like this one either. This is a fun map, but for something about it I don't like. Like, there is a lot of turns and it is constant action with this one, but something, I guess I just don't like this last section. Well, this is actually the finish line, but that last section with these music notes in it, I don't really like that much. I don't know. This is a hard one. I don't know why I don't like it that much. I technically should like this one, but I just don't. I put it in D, though. I think it's, gameplay-wise, I think it's really good. Yoshi Valley, this map is absolute trash. Again, I see what they were going for with this one. We're going to have a bunch of paths, and it's going to be really unique. But really what it turns into is you go left, and you take the bridge path, and anyone who takes any other path is screwed, which obviously no one online is going to. They're all going to take the same path. And I think if they would have made, and there's just so many pointless routes, like the route on the right with the cannon is just completely pointless. Yeah, I just think this one's kind of a waste. I think it could have been cool if they would have made all the paths the same. If they would have tested it out more. I mean, I get this was an N64 map, but if they would have made all the paths take the same amount of time, and you could choose one depending on like what you liked better, I guess. I think it would have been a lot cooler. But the fact that you're basically forced to take that path on the left, I think really sucks. And then after that, there's nothing really special about it. It's just like a dirt track map. I think it's terrible. F tier. Tick-Tock Clock. This is definitely, if you guys couldn't tell, the DS was my first Mario Kart. I love this one. I liked it more on the DS though, but I do think it's still really good here. I don't like that glide ramp that added that makes you fly over all the gears at the end, because that was kind of a crucial point of the map on the DS where you'd have to drive. You'd want to drive with the gears movement rather than against it. So this kind of removes some of the challenge of that. But I do still like it. I would put it in C tier. C tier is kind of like the maps that I like all these maps. They're just not my absolute favorite. So like anything C tier or above, I would say I would definitely, if it got picked like online or whatever, I'd be like hyped to play it. And anything down here, I'm just kind of like, I'd rather have one of these. Piranha Plant Slide, I like this one. It's one of the few underwater maps that I actually do like, and I think it has cool music and a cool theme to it. and I think it's fun. I put it in B tier. I like it. Grumble Volcano, I think they could have changed a little more on this one and innovated a little more on it. It's pretty similar to the original. Well, which is okay because it was a really good map, but it's not my favorite here. I actually prefer this one on the Wii. For me, this is probably a D tier. They did add a trick ramp at the end, like a little shortcut that was kind of like a trick in the original game, where in this they made it more official, so that's kind of cool. But they removed like some other glitches that made the original really cool, like where you could drive around that rock right at the beginning and just keep having laps count. Like stuff like that's really cool, and it's kind of sad they removed some of the charm of the original Grumble Volcano, in my opinion. Rainbow Road N64, this map is absolute trash. Probably going to make a lot of people mad by saying that, but I just absolutely hate this map. The turns just feel so wide for this game, and thank God they only made it one lap, because otherwise it would literally by far be the worst map in the game. The fireworks are cool, but other than that, this map is just boring and it sucks. Anyone who defends this map, they have two reasons. They either grew up with it and it's very nostalgic for them, which it does have good music, I will say. The music's really good. But the reality is, if it looked like Moo Moo Meadows and it was the same layout, everyone would hate it. So for that reason, it's easily an F tier for me. Yoshi Circuit, this is an absolutely fantastic map. Constant turns. It looks like it would be simple, but the Yoshi design of the course really lent out to be a really good map. I think it's really a fun one to play, and it takes a lot of skill, I think. I'll put that one in A tier. I really like that one. Excite Bike Arena, I don't really find this one fun at really much at all, because it's basically just a straightaway. You're just going off ramps, and then you're basically just hoping to have mushrooms to cut off the turns. And other than that, to me, this map is a lot of luck, which obviously there is luck in Mario Kart, but this map especially feels very luck-based to me, because it all depends on your items. If you don't get good items on this map, you're going to get screwed. Obviously, there is strategy to try to get the good items, but yeah, I don't like this one at all. It's not as bad as these F tier ones. I'll put it in E tier though. It's cool they made an Excite Bike map, because that is a classic NES game, and that's cool that they thought to do that, but I just don't think it was executed very well. Let's see here. Dragon Driftway. This one I like. It's not my favorite, but a lot of turns and a good challenge, especially on 200cc. This map is really, really hard. I like it. But I don't like it as much as these ones. I'd put it probably D tier, but that's a fun one for sure. Mute City, again, another fun map. That's not my favorite. Both the F-Zero maps they're pretty fun, and I like the gravity in them. They kind of feel like you're underwater in them. It's like the same gravity. But yeah, a fun, fast-paced map with many turns and many things. I also like, just like F-Zero, you have to go over I forget what they're called, the little purple strips to get all the coins. So it's kind of cool how they stayed true to the source material there. I give that one a C. I like it. Wario's Gold Mine. This one I really liked on the Wii. They basically ruined this map in this game, because you can't get hit by the mine carts. That's the whole point, is you're supposed to be avoiding the mine carts, and it was hard as hell. This version just feels way too easy. Like they just removed all the challenge in it. Again, it looks cool, and yeah, I like the theme of it, but the actual gameplay of it, I think they completely ruined it. I'm gonna put an F tier. I think on the Wii, this is an A tier map. In this game, it's just not that good. I don't know. They ruined it for me, for sure. SNES Rainbow Road. I like this one. Basic layout, no guardrails, just classic Mario Kart fun here. I think this is a really good one. The thwomps kind of add good challenge with making the road all bumpy. I like this. I'll put it in C tier. Ice Ice Outpost. This one's kind of weird. I don't really know, honestly, what to think of this one. It has shortcuts. But there's also two paths, and obviously there's specific paths you have to memorize, like what to go on. I feel like it's normally the green path is better, but it's okay. It's not my favorite though. I'd put it in D. I think it's all right. Hyrule Castle. This one's really good. A lot of areas that you can do shortcuts, and I like you have to hit the three little things. I don't even know what they're called, but in that turn inside the castle, there's three little things you got to hit, and then the ramp comes up in the center. So it kind of adds every lap. You have a little challenge you can do, and I like when maps do that. There's a couple other ones that have little gimmicks like that, and it makes them really memorable, and it makes each lap exciting because you want to try to hit all three of those things to get the faster route. And it's kind of, like something you would do in The Legend of Zelda. So again, staying true to the source material of the map, I think is pretty damn cool. For me, I would put this one... I like this one a lot. I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it's really good. Baby Park. Again, this is kind of like a luck-based one. It's just, you got to get stars. You don't want to get hit, and you need speed items and items that prevent you from getting hit. But I'm glad it's here. It's kind of like every Mario Kart game has to have this map in it, and I think it's can be fun. But I'd put it in D tier. I don't think it's that great. Sunshine Airport. I love this one. I think the theme of it's really cool. I think they could have did a little more inside the airport. I think that'd be cool if they made a sequel to this one. But it's really cool how you're like going up in the air and they're going down with the planes. I think, and you're driving through the plane. They did like a little bit of everything with this map that has to do with an airport. So I think this was cool. You're in the loading station. You go through like everything. So I see what they were definitely trying to do with this. And I really like this map. I would say it's either A or S for me. Let's put an S tier. Not enough up there. Cheese Land this is such a fun one to get online because half the people just are staying back, trying to get the really good items and then make a comeback, and that's what I like to do in this one. It's really fun. It's always exciting, and it's always a close call at the end. This one's never ever peaceful, but it's really fun. It's got good music. It's got a really cool theme. You're just driving around on cheese, and there's like pizza and stuff in the background. This is a cool one for sure. It's an easy S tier for me. Wild Woods, another one that I really like. I guess I like the Wii U DLC. But this one, I don't know. It's just got a cool theme to it. It's got good music. It's got an interesting track layout. It's fun. A tier. Animal Crossing, I don't know. I mean, I think what ruins this one for me is the music. It's not hype. It's just not like exciting, or it's just kind of boring sounding. I'm not a big Animal Crossing fan, but I think the track layout's pretty good. I think it's interesting enough. But again, it has a shortcut at the end that you kind of have to make. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. But it's fun. I would put it in D tier though. I don't get excited about it. But it's not technically a bad map. And it is cool that it has like the 4 variations, so every time you play it, it's going to look a little different. Neo Bowser City. This is a hard map, but it's really fun. It has like water physics. It has like kind of slippery roads because it's raining, and it looks really cool. It's got good music. I think the shortcut at the end, right before the glide ramp, it's not like crucial, so I kind of like that. It's like if you miss that, you're still not screwed. I think it's fun. I'd put it in C tier. Ribbon Road. This is another one that's kind of hard for me to do those shortcuts in the anti-gravity section. Those ones are always tricky. But again, I don't know. This one's I really like this one, but it does have at the end that game-changing shortcut. But it can be fun too. All these maps that I mentioned, that it can go either way. You can be in 5th, take that shortcut and win, or you could be in 1st, and then a bunch of people just pass you with items, and it just kind of feels shitty. But this one's fun. I like the theme of it. You're in like a bedroom, and feel like you're really small and stuff. I think this is a cool one. I'd put it in A tier. I think it's good. Super Bell Subway. This is a fun one. I like this one a lot. It's a good challenge. You're always getting hit by these freaking trains that are going through. And a lot of items. There's a little shortcut at the end. It's very, very frantic. Again, this is another one where it's like you're always panicking the whole way. But it's very fun. Again, another A tier one, I'd say. Big Blue. I like this one a little more. Out of the F-Zero maps, just because it's one lap, so it's just a little less repetitive, and there's little shortcuts you can do where you like go off the track and hold down, you kind of float through the air. I think this is a cool one. I think it is better than the Muse City. I put it in B tier. I like it. Paris Promenade. So now we're at the DLC for the Switch, by the way. So These are all Switch DLC tracks now. This one is not that good at all. I don't really know what to say about it. It's a mobile tour, which is like the mobile game, so it's kind of cool. I do like all these tour maps, how when you're playing them, each lap is a little different. So I do like that about these. That kind of puts them above these just because they're not boring in any way. But again, this one, it just doesn't have much going on for it. I would put it in E. I don't think it's technically a bad one. I just think it's kind of boring. Toad Circuit, another average map. This was the starting track in Mario Kart 7. I think it's a good beginning course. There's nothing wrong with it technically. Has the shortcut at the end, and yeah, there's not much else to say about it. I'd put it in D tier. I feel like it's a little better gameplay wise than these ones down here. It's Choco Mountain. I don't really like this one. I liked it on the DS, but they removed like a lot of the fog effect. It's still there a little bit, I think, but it's not nearly as pronounced. Like the N64 version too. Like you're driving, you can't see much in front of you, and I feel like that was a lot of the charm. They kind of ruined this one a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of this one. I'd put it in E. It's not as bad as these, but I don't really like it that much. Coconut Mall, they really screwed this one up. This was like the best map in the Wii game, or one of the best maps. They added these stupid freaking arrows to all the elevators, which again kind of removes a lot of the challenge. And when it first came out, the cars didn't even move in the parking lot, and then they actually updated the game and fixed that. So that was good. At least that bumps it up a little bit. And yeah, it just doesn't have the same charm as the Wii game. You'd have like the posters of your Miis and stuff on the walls. They kind of removed some of the charm. This one kind of feels a little lazy to me, which is sad because this was a very anticipated course to get added. But again, it is still fun. I'd put it in D tier. I think it's okay. Tokyo Blur, again, this is another one I could live without. It does change every lap, which is cool. This is the one with the womps at the end. It's okay. It's fine. I don't have much to say about it. I would say it's E tier. Kind of, yeah, just in line with those ones. Shroom Ridge, I absolutely love this map. This is like a sleeper map right here. Again, another DS one. This has probably the one, I would say probably the best song in the game, if not. It's definitely up there for sure. It's cool how you're like on a mountain driving through on the road. I like this one. It's kind of like realistic feeling. They added that shortcut at the end where you can fly through the air, which that was a good addition. I think it did need a little shortcut added in. And yeah, I don't know. This one, when I listen to it, it brings me back to playing the DS. So to me, this is a S tier one. Again, that's probably one that wouldn't be as high for most people, but man, I love that one. Every time it gets picked, I'm hyped. Sky Garden, another really good one. Again, good music. It's got some shortcuts. The shortcut at the end, again, it's kind of one of those ones that bothers me because it's you either do it and you win or you don't and you lose kind of deal. So, but it has some skill. It has this little alternate route in the beginning. I don't think this is it, but there's like a mushroom that you can go off to the side. I think that's kind of cool. I like that. It's all right. It's a little short for my liking, though. I would have preferred a little longer time out of this one. Where do I put this one? I put it in B tier. It's a good one. Ninja Hideaway. This is one that I did not like that much when I first played it. Now I absolutely love it. There's just so many different routes, and none of the routes are bad. You can take any of these routes, and you're going to do pretty well. It kind of feels like what Yoshi Valley kind of wanted to be, but actually done well. I like the setting of it, and yeah, I think it's pretty damn cool. Again, it's got good music, and it's very unique. There's no other map in the game that looks like this. Easy S tier. New York Minute, again, this is just one that I don't like. It was the first Mario Kart Tour I basically played when it first came out, and then I kind of stopped on it. I do remember playing this map in the mobile game, so this was like one of the first ones, if not the first map in the game. And it's just kind of boring. It looks cool in the screenshot, but I assure you that it's not as cool as it looks. I would say it's E tier. I don't think it's as bad as these ones down here, but it's not great. Mario Circuit 3, this one's really fun. Another one you can stay back and try to get items and cut off, because there's basically every turn there's a huge shortcut. A lot of skill to this one, and a lot of luck. It's fun. You never know what's going to happen with it. and just for that reason, I'll put it in B. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, it's not a cool theme. It's just like the SNES basic map theme, but it's fun. Calamari Desert, I don't like this one at all. Again, it kind of has the Rainbow Road N64 problem. The freaking turns are just way too big for this game. They're not made for this. You really want a character that has terrible handling to play a map like this. I do like. I don't know. This is just a boring one for me. But they did add that section where you're going through the tunnel with the train. I think that was definitely needed. But even then, I don't know. I personally don't like this one. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's not that fun to me. But for me, it's an F tier, and it probably shouldn't be because they added that. But I don't know. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, oh shit, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that map. Waluigi Pinball. This one, I don't know why. This was this is the one that I really wanted to get added to the DLC. Like when I heard about the DLC, I'm like, oh my god, they better add this Waluigi Pinball. They better do it, and they did. And it's okay. They didn't change anything about it, which I guess you would think is a good thing, but I don't know. I think it needed some changes. I think change is good, and I think this map needed just a couple little things added to it, little extra routes or whatever. I don't know exactly what they would add, but just something different. And it's good. It's not my favorite though. I put it in C tier. Sydney Sprint. I like this one. It's got really good music, and the paths change. I mean, there's nothing that I don't really like the dirt section at the end of this one. That kind of brings it down a little bit. I think it's fun gameplay wise though. I would say C tier. Snowland. This one's kind of hard. It has that cool shortcut in the beginning. You cut off so much, and it's ridiculous. And it is an ice map, which kind of brings it down a little bit for me personally. It's okay. I would say D tier, kind of in same enjoyment as these kind of maps. Mushroom Gorge, again, this is like great one where something about it, it's just not as good as the original. I can't even put my finger on it, what it is, but this map used to be so good. And now it's just not as good. Maybe it just doesn't compare to these other maps as well, but something about it. And they added it was added in Mario Kart 7, I believe, the glide ramp, or the glide mushroom, I should say, inside the end cave section, which I think kind of removes a lot of the challenge of it. But they did leave the gap little jump at the end in, so that's cool. I think it's a D tier for me though. I think it's okay. I'm actually gonna bump Snowland up to C. I'd rather play that than these ones. Sky High Sunday. This is I feel like this is kind of an Excite Bike in disguise, because it's just kind of like a big, long straightaway and then some turns. But it's a lot more interesting just the way that's done, and I feel like there's a lot more skill to it. There's more route options, and I just feel like it's basically a good version of Excite Bike. And there's a glide ramp here you can go through here, and it's pretty cool. I like it. I'd say C tier for me. I think it's pretty fun. Rock Mountain. I was never really crazy about this one because you're just flying through the air like a lot of the map, and I think that's not as fun as driving, personally. But it has cool music, and it is cool. But again, they didn't change much about this one. It's basically the same track, just with better graphics. I'd put it in D tier. I think it's on par with these ones here. Merry Mountain. I think this one's good. I think it's really good up until the end, that long straightaway section with just some ramps and little spin booster things. I think they could have did a little more there. I don't know exactly what, but I think they could have. I don't know. I feel like they just got lazy at the end, kind of, on this one. But it's really good in the beginning. I put it in C tier though. I think it's fun. And that straightaway section is not that long, so it doesn't knock it down too much for me. London Loop. Again, another mobile. It's just such a mobile course. Like there's the chain chomp that kind of makes it interesting, but even then, it's just you go around in a city, and then it's a little different each lap, and that's pretty much all there's to say about it. You go over some bridges and stuff, and it looks nice, I guess, but it's not my favorite. but it's not bad gameplay-wise, probably. I put it in D. I think it's okay. Boo Lake, I like this one a lot. I think it's kind of weird that they have you actually go in the Boo Lake, like you go underwater. But I think that's cool. I think this one needed a little something different about it, and I think that was what they did. And I think it actually worked out pretty well, since it just kind of made it more unique. And it actually makes sense, unlike Twisted Mansion, where you're actually, because normally you're just above the lake and then you actually go into it, where that's just like you're in a house or you're in a mansion and then all of a sudden you're in the water. But this, I feel like this did it a lot more, and you're constantly turning and it's just constant action with this one. I think it's really good. I feel like I'm saying a lot of the same things for a lot of these, but that's okay. Maple Treeway, another really good Wii map. I think it's good in this game. They removed the bridge at the end, which is kind of stupid. And I think they should have added like another shortcut somewhere. They should have did something with this one to make it a little different. I'm trying to think if I don't think they did anything different with it. I think there's no anti-gravity section. It's literally just the same map, just better graphics. But again, this was one of the ones I was like hoping would get in the game. So it did get in the game, but it's not. I was hoping for something a little more fresh feeling. It's good though. I put it in C tier. I'm talking shit about it, but it's actually pretty good. Berlin Byways. This one, I like how many cars there are. It's basically like a good version of Toad's Turnpike, and just a lot more variety. I still don't like it that much though. It's better than. I would just put it in C tier though. I think it's better than these maps down here. Peach Gardens, I really like this one, and I really like what they did with the last lap. So you basically, if you haven't played it, you just go through normally. Again, this is a DS map, so I'm very experienced with this one, I guess you could say. So you go through, there's some shortcuts and stuff, just kind of your typical affair. But then on the last lap, you take a left turn instead of a right in the beginning, and you go through the course backwards. I think that was a really, really cool idea, and I think a lot of these maps could have benefited from a cool change like this. This was like one of the most I think this is like the most drastic change they made in any of the maps, and I don't know why this was always a really good one. I think some other maps probably needed this kind of change more, but I think this is a really good one. I'm gonna put it in A tier. It's not my favorite in the game, but it's definitely close. And if they wouldn't have did that change, it probably would be in C tier. So it's cool that they would have bumped it up that much for me. I'm scrolling here. Okay. 3DS Rainbow Road is really good. I think it has a lot of variety. You're on the Rainbow Road, and then you go on the moon, and you go on that spiral thing, and then you're flying at the end, and you go on the Saturn rings. A lot of different sections. One lap, which I think is really cool. The turns at the end are a little awkward, though, for this game, I will say. But that doesn't ruin it at all. I think, for me, after the gliding section, like that big turn, just, I don't know, sometimes I just fall off of it for no reason, just because it feels so weird. Maybe that's just me. But this one is really good. I'd say it's an A tier one. I like it. Yeah, it's better than this and than the Wii U one. Amsterdam, I don't like this one at all. Honestly, I don't. A lot of these ones that I don't like, I don't have really a good reason. Is there anything wrong with this map? Technically, probably not. There's variety. It changes every lap. You go underwater. I mean, it has everything. It has that cool section at the end with the flowers. But I think I don't know. I just don't like it. I guess I just don't like the layout of it. I don't know. But something about it I don't like. I put an E tier, I would say. Riverside Park. This one's really short, but it's really good. A lot of shortcuts. This is, I would say, probably the most chaotic map in the entire game, especially at the end in that last tunnel. It always seems like something happens in that right before you jump out of the waterfall at the end, right inside this little cave thing here. It's very exciting. You're either gonna get hit or you're not, and you're either gonna lose or you're gonna win there. So it's always, you never know what's gonna happen on this one until the end. And there's a lot. It's very fast paced and just it's very fun. I'd put it at A tier, I would say. DK Summit. I liked this one probably a little more in the Wii. I think it's just more of like, again, it kind of had that foggy kind of atmosphere. Not as much as like Choco Mountain, but still. I just liked, I guess, the atmosphere of it a bit more. And I feel like the shortcut was a little easier to do in the original, which is fine. Actually, I kind of like the increased challenge of this one, especially if you're just doing the single cut. It's so easy in the original, and this one it's like it's a little harder. I mean, it's still pretty easy, but yeah, it's fun. Again, this is one of the ones I really wanted, and they didn't ruin this one. I'm surprised they didn't remove the gap cut, but they didn't. I put it in B tier. It's fun. Yoshi's Island. This was a freaking awesome new map. I like how they did all the theming. Like if you get a coin, it sounds like Yoshi's Island. If you get hit, it's like the Yoshi's Island sound effect. And they changed. I like little details like that. I think that's really cool. And this has kind of a gimmick at the end too, where there's that cloud and you have to hit it to unlock the secret little red path right here. I think that is, again, I really like the maps that add a challenge on every lap. So every lap you're hoping to hit that cloud, or you're hoping someone hits it for you, you can get on it. Because if you don't, it's devastating. You have to take this long route around here. And yeah, good music, insane. I love the theme of it. I'm a big Yoshi's Island fan to begin with, but yeah, definitely an S tier one for me, for sure. I would have liked more unique maps like this in the DLC. That would have been cool. Bangkok Rush, again, it's fine. Don't have much to say about it. It's okay. I'd say D tier. I think it's a little better than Amsterdam. Mario Circuit DS, really good music, again, and great shortcuts. Great challenge in the shortcuts. Just all those trees after that pipe section. It's sometimes can be hard to squeeze between them. You want to really make sure your angle's right. The piranha plant spitting fire is cool. And yeah, just a basic map, but it's a fun one. I would say A tier. That's the thing, that every map doesn't need to be special. It just needs to be really fun to play. Waluigi Stadium, I don't like this one. I was never really a fan of it in the Wii game either, and I really don't like the extra platforms they added right after this section. There's like those floating platforms. I think those are kind of lame, and I just think it's not that fun of a map. I put it in E tier. I really don't like it. Singapore Speedway, this is definitely one of the best mobile maps. Fantastic music, interesting the whole time. Doesn't feel like you're just going through some basic city. They made it very unique. Like these ones, I feel like they were just trying to be too realistic. Like we're in a Mario game here. Like this is like fantasy, like crazy stuff going on. Like we're not supposed to be just driving through buildings. Like this is like they made it a little Mario flair to it. I really like that. I think it's great. I think it's A tier. Vancouver Velocity, I think it's okay. I kind of like the part where you go in the ice rink and there's like the different, like the first time you go left and the second time you go straight or whatever. I might have reversed the order of those, but yeah, I like that. And I don't know. I think the beginning part's not that great. It's all right. I'm gonna put it in D tier. Athens, I think this is a really good one. Definitely one of the better mobile maps again. Good music, kind of a unique theme. There's not many other maps that look like this. And good track layouts, never boring. Yeah, just the things I liked about the maps is true with this one. I say B tier. Daisy Cruiser, this one's really overrated, I feel. I feel like the layout of it is bad. They removed some of the challenge with it. I don't like how you can drive in the pool in that first section where like in the GameCube you'd have to like avoid that. I think it's kind of lame. You can just cut across. Again, I think this kind of needed a Peach Gardens kind of thing. They needed to like last lap you like somehow go way over here and you go backwards through it. I think that would have made it extra special, but they just didn't change nothing about it. I think it's cool though, the idea that you're like on a cruise ship. I think that's cool. I'll put it as a D. Moonview, very frantic map. I feel like they kept this one just as frantic. They didn't remove the bomb cars, which is cool because that was, again, kind of the whole point of the map. Good music. Not many shortcuts, not many alternate routes, but I think it's really fun and it can be very chaotic. I like how the boost panels are random every lap, so you don't know exactly which way to go until you're the first lap, and then you kind of figure it out. And yeah, I think it's good. But how good is it? It's definitely B tier. Squeaky Clean is another new map. And again, crazy theme. you're like going through a bathtub and going through the drain and like going all over this bathroom. I think this was a freaking awesome idea for a map. And I think it was executed well too. It's fun, has a good layout, and it's very unique, good music. And I like the first lap, how you can't go on that upper route that's obviously faster. So the first lap, you're forced to take the slower route, and the second lap, the water starts shooting up, and you can go into the upper section. I like that. So it changes each lap without being like the tour maps where the actual route is changing. You're just changing what paths you're being able to take. I think that's pretty cool. That's S tier for me. So yeah, like the two new maps or the three new maps are like S tier ones. So hopefully that's a good sign for the next game. Los Angeles laps. Or no, this is the one with the dirt section in the end, not that other one. I'm an idiot. But yeah, I don't really like this one. It's kind of cool you fly through that baseball stadium in the beginning. It's okay. Where do I put it, though? I put it in C. I think it's okay, now that I think about it more. Sunset Wilds, again, a lot of shortcuts. I'd say this is like one of the harder layouts just because of all like the enemies and stuff and the little dirt patches on the sides of the road. And yeah, it's a fun one. Very chaotic. I'd say B tier. Koopa Cape. This one, they completely ruined the whole point of the map, kind of like they did with some of the other Wii maps. In this tunnel section, if you don't know, there's supposed to be these spinning electrocuting things, and you get shocked by it, and then you shrink. And that was, like, devastating when that would happen. But they removed the damn things, and now there's just nothing. So they removed the whole challenge of it. So I think that really sucks. I don't know. I think that's the main issue with it, and they didn't change anything other than just removing features from the original. So for me, that's an E tier one, and that's really, again, that sucks because this is one of the better Wii maps, but they kind of ruined it, in my opinion. Madrid Drive, I love this one. I don't know why. It's got good music. It's got, I don't know. I don't even know why this one's so good. It has a couple unique sections. You go through that like thing with the museum, and then you go at the end, you go through that soccer stadium, and the music changes, which I think is really cool. I think Nintendo, like, I always think of Banjo-Kazooie when you think of changing music. Like, if you go underwater, the music changes. Like, Dolphin Shoals has a little bit of that. You go underwater and the music changes. Not in this map, but I'm saying, like, in Banjo-Kazooie. Like, you go underwater, the music changes. You go in a dark area, the music gets all, like, echoey and stuff. I think Mario Kart could use more of that, and this map kind of did implement that. I really like it. I'm going to say A tier. It's a good all-around map. There's nothing I don't like about it. Rosalina's Ice World, again, this is a good one for sure. Definitely the best ice map in the game. That's like you're driving on ice, at least. Yeah, it's just unique, and I like the skill of trying to get on that ice thing that's floating in the water. You can try to go off the ramp on the left side and get enough speed to barely get on there. I think that's cool. Again, another thing you can try for every lap is try to get on the floating platforms. Cool one, and I'm a big Mario Galaxy fan, so I think this is cool that it's like right by the Rosalina's laboratory or whatever it's called. Where should it go? I would say A tier. I think it's really good. Bowser's Castle 3, a lot of trick ramps, a lot of fast-paced action, a lot of it's a fun one. There's not like too many like straightaways that are too long, which is a complaint with some maps that are kind of like this. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say about it. Not really. It's a good one. B tier. Rainbow Road Wii. This is the best map in the game by far. Great music. It's super exciting. There's several different shortcuts and little like options, I guess, that you can do. Like in that section with the two big circular holes, you can go off the sides, or you can go over them, or you can go on the sides of them, and then try to get enough speed where you can go over that little gap. I know it's hard to explain all this without showing you guys, but you know, if you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. S tier, top S tier, for sure. Rome, this one is okay. I think I like this beginning section where you're going around this, I don't even know, forget this building's called, but it's cool. Not my favorite. I'd say it's C. DK Mountain, they didn't really change anything about it, but they didn't ruin anything about it either. And this was always a really good map to begin with, so it's like not like it needed to be changed. Yeah, again, good music. It's got the shortcut, so it's like something you can try to do every lap, and you can try to improve on and get better at it. And it's harder in this game too. It's way harder in this than on the Wii. It's kind of more like the GameCube one in terms of doing the shortcut. God, we're almost at 50 minutes. Jeez, I was trying to be fast here, but I knew this was going to be long. Yeah, they didn't ruin anything about it, so B tier. Daisy Circuit, I think this one's an average one. I like that little shortcut in the beginning where you can go through the building on the stairs and try to save like a mushroom. I think that's cool, but the theme of it's cool. But there's again they needed to change something that was in the original too. That little shortcut. So I think Peach Gardens. A lot of these maps could learn from Peach Gardens. I think that was such a cool idea, and I hope they implement that into the next Mario Kart. And I actually really would. I think it'd be so cool if they made instead of a mirror mode, like a mode you can go literally backwards through the tracks, just like Peach Gardens. I think that would be pretty sweet. It's good, but it's not my favorite. I'd say it's C. And Piranha Plant Cove is the final one. Again, this one's, I freaking like this one. This is the best underwater map in the game by far. Tons of shortcuts, tons of different route options, and it just feels very unique. This just feels like what the underwater map should have been, like Dolphin Shoals, and this is like the map they wanted to be. But it's cool that it was finally realized, I guess, the idea of those, and it's awesome. And I like that we can end it out with an S tier. So yeah, there's the tier list. I can't even get it all on screen. We don't even need to see those F tier ones. There's the tier list. If you guys actually watch this video, you are a legend. I was going to do a face cam, but I was like, whatever, let's just do it like this. I figured it could be something that some Mario Kart fans could listen to while they're working or whatever, but that's the tier list from someone who's played the game a lot, and I like to think that my opinion is somewhat valid, but obviously it's all in my opinion. I'm sure some of you guys would put Yoshi Valley in S tier, and that's totally fine with me. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and just keep playing some Mario Kart. Bye.